Good morning, friends. Good morning, loyal audience. Long time, I don't know, few days. Very important today. Uh, Here's a shocker. The shocker I will state now, I will inform you of now, but I will explain a little bit later in the video. Navalny is not dead. So hold on to your seat. This is a fact. And if you see a body that's supposed to be that of Navalny, then that's a double. And it happened in history, not as recent as, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago or something. But then let's go back to Trump. I did explain or mention in my previous video about him that uh, I found his submissive posture or bowing down or stooping down to Putin a little bit mysterious, or so much I cannot fathom the reasons. And then I guessed, maybe he has a secret. That secret, I think there's a secret there. That secret, if, for example, is to be divulged by Putin, then maybe Trump will commit suicide or something. I don't know. That's one of the things, one of the possible reasons, right? That he grovels before Putin, right? The other secret is that I thought the guy is just freaking weird. Coward, right? And weakling and so on. And we saw that side of him during debates, during other things, to the degree that people testified that when he came into the White House, that he didn't know what to do, but he had help of generals, of others, So as if he was just a mere symbolic figure, right, sitting in the White House. But then it hit me again. Maybe the guy is not showing submissiveness or, subservience to Putin because he's a coward, right? At the end of the day, Putin is not something that is so charismatic or is so, or is so brave or anything like that. The guy ran away from a rat. Remember his story? So I started thinking about it again, but then I discovered that this is not the case. There is some other secret that is bigger than that. Why is that? Because I remembered Trump. Remember Trump when he went to Paris? And then he shook hand with Macron, and he started like arm twisting, physically speaking, really literally speaking, arm twisting, and Macron was just being yanked around and jerked around, right, while he was holding hand with him, right, and he wouldn't let go his hand. Maybe the guy asked him, I need my hand back, but no, he was kept, like, if you remember. So why would he be so bold with Macron, but not with Putin, right? And why would Macron be so weak as not to really yank his hand from Trump? Maybe he was a French gentleman. I don't know. It could be that. But then I saw again that when Macron went to Moscow to meet with Putin, and so did Scholz of Germany, right? They both showed also submissiveness to Putin. Right? Remember that very long table? And at one point, Putin walked off the podium and left them standing there in a condescending manner, like he was basically looking down on them or something of the sort. So it came to me, right? This is not being coward. So the secret, being big secret, it's still there as a possibility, but there's something more than that, really. Why are they trying all to show Putin as this tough? And that happened, the Scholz and Macron visit to Moscow happened just before the invasion of Ukraine, that aggression against Ukraine, right? And then later, of course, that there is complicity by the rulers of Europe and America and so on, that as if they want Putin to proceed in the invasion of Anglo-Saxon Europe. To me and to you, this should not be a mystery or a secret. This is very obviously something that is going on, right? Give me a second. I need to kill some processes because they consume CPUs, and this camera software drops frames. So there's something there that's bigger than that. There is a dogma, there is a religion, there is a plan, a plot that has been in the works for a long time, right? And that is that's what's going on. I will give you a hint of that plot later. There was here's a short notice, a short note, or a short hint, right? Somebody mentioned on TV on one of the news outlets that the world is frightened of Trump returning to the White House. The world is not frightened of Trump. It's the other way around. Trump should be frightened of the world. And if or when push comes to shove, you shall see. I will state the initials MF, right? MF. That's Mac F, right? The world is not frightened of Trump, and I know you're for Trump, right? So let's go back to Navalny. Why would this Navalny fiasco and act and stunt work happen? Why would they want to do that? I mean, you may think this goes against Putin. I'm going to give you a hint to that. Like I said again, even if you saw a body there that looks like him, dead body that looks like him, that is a double. And I assure you, Navalny was never in opposition to Trump, right? I mean, to Putin. He was never an opponent or a challenger to Putin. Never was. He was his friend. He was his brother. Putin has been consistent. Every time there was any opponent for Putin, whether it's a journalist or a billionaire or whoever it is, they were killed promptly, right? He never failed in assassinating anyone, right? Supposedly even his protege, right? Prigozhin, right? Which is not dead. Who's not dead? Neither is Dugina is dead. Neither is Dugina dead. Right? Right. So even if you saw a body, that would be a double. Some poor guy, who looked like Navalny, close to Navalny, and they probably take him for some cosmetic surgery and so on, and then they just lay him down as a dead person, and then they show you that Navalny is dead. Right? So I assure you, Navalny has never been in opposition, and then he came back to Russia, right? And then he failed to kill him again. He just sent him to Siberia. It just doesn't work this way, right? Not for Putin. Putin is consistent. When he wants to assassinate someone, even if that someone is a low-ranking officer or even a civilian who speaks against, look, like he never failed in assassinations, even in England, even here, even in he assassinated even a certain Chechen leader in Qatar, right? Qatar, right? That small country that's heavily controlled, that's so and so. You just see it this way, right? And now he fails to assassinate Navalny all this time, right? So now that's it. I thought of it myself first. It plays against Putin. This really plays for Trump. What they're trying to say is Trump is a dictator. You oppose him now, that's what's going to happen to you. This is a subliminal threat, right? That's going to play in your not undermine, rather than your inner conscious. You American, you white American, you whoever you are, you're going to look at Trump and you would think, if this guy comes into the White House, that's what he's going to do, right? He's going to do stuff like that, right? He's going to assassinate us all. Folks, you don't have to. Your worst enemy is fear itself. The only thing you have to fear, according to Johnson, remember, he borrowed it from like ancient time, older, like 1,000 years ago, generations who talked wisdom and so on. The only fear you have to fear is fear itself. If you fear anything now, that's going to paralyze you, right? That's why Navalny has been sent to some oblast near China and the Pacific. That's where Bin Laden is. That's where that's where uh, uh, that's where uh, Drogogine is. That's where Dugina is, or maybe in South America, somewhere, maybe in Algeria. How the heck do I know? But I assure you, I assure you, that's the purpose of it. And now notice Trump is capitalizing psychologically on it. That he is not saying anything. Why? Because that's what he is going to do if he comes into the White House. You see what I'm saying here? So, folks, especially you whites, those who are supporting Trump, Trump will not attack you because you opposed him. He will attack you because who you are. Who you are. You're Anglo-Saxons, and that Putin and his sidekicks, Lavrov and Dugin, they're on the record. Go check it out. They don't like this Anglo-Saxon thing, right? Now you may say, well, you're not Anglo-Saxon yourself. I'm a Eurasian. I'm an Arab, right? An Arab with Arab ancestry, right? And I have some Eurasian in me. But what these guys are not after that. These guys are after some 1984, 1948, or 1984, right? And Brave New World type government. These guys are after returning humanity back into animal farms, animal farm. No less, folks. Wake up. Now notice when Tucker Carlson interviewed him, he so despised him, and he so despised him afterwards. Why does he so despise this Putin despises those Republicans, and why they're subservient to him? And it's just beyond me, folks. As if he's showing America, right? You know, why he's showing America, you know, like, hey, look, your whites, look there, look what I'm doing to them. And they take it with stride, right? You know, humiliation with stride. But he mentioned something during that interview. I didn't watch the whole interview. It's just a small clip about him saying that Zelensky is Jewish. True, Zelensky is Jewish, but Ukraine is still a democracy, and that war against Ukraine is really to remove democracy from Ukraine. Rule of law, you know, there's no dictatorship in Ukraine. Regardless of Zelensky, I am for Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. I'm not for Zelensky, right? But he doesn't matter now. Here's another shocker for you. First, I told you Navalny is not dead. He's a psychological play against you white Americans. And even if you saw a body, it'll be a double, right? Two, Putin himself is a crypto-Jew, right? Crypto-Jew. He is a crypto-Jew. So why are they playing this Jewish thing on you? And this is not anti-Semitism. He himself said he's a Jew, and before him, his brother Jewish Lavrov said that Hitler was Jew, right? That's there on the record saying so, right? It's because he knows, they know that white America and Anglo-Saxons have this something about communism which they relate to Jewish roots, right? And Nazism, now they know Nazism is the sister movement of communism, and they were like a vice crushing Europe, right? This Anglo-Saxon thing. But that Anglo-Saxon thing survived, you know, those white people survived, and there are remnants of them, but that they don't like to continue. So now when you see that Putin is saying, you know, playing or stating stuff openly about Jewish control and so on, guess what? You as whites, you think he's something that you're going to side with. That's not the case, folks. He is a crypto-Jew, and he's bringing a Jewish government to Western Europe and here as well. It's already there, but it's going to be more like an animal farm. Let's put it this way. So he's playing this Jewish thing on you. Guess what? He is a crypto-Jew. Guess who is a crypto-Jew as well? Chernovsky. Now, Chernovsky kept talking, if you remember Chernovsky after the fall of the Soviet Union, he is that figure. I think he's still alive. Right? He's still alive, and he used to talk like he was well outspoken, you know, and bitter opponent of Judaism, right? And Jews and so on, and Soviet Union. And I remember the guy, he even went to Baghdad before the invasion of Iraq, and he dressed like Arabs, right? And then he was smoking a hookah and so on. Do you remember that comical scene? Here's the shocker. I was told by Russians, right? No, 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 real Russians, not like Muslim Russians or anything else. Ways back, like in the early 80s or no, later, 90s, early 90s. Coincidental meeting, right? And then we talked and you know, and Jernavsky, I brought up Jernavsky. And there was smiles on their faces. They told me that Jernavsky was Jewish, right? They Russians know that, right? So that game is well known. Putin, Pustalini, that game is well known. Uh, and you white America don't believe that. This is called, I don't know what to call it, negative, not negative, reverse psychology. Reverse psychology meaning they appear as the one, the object that you don't like or feel threatened by or you've been a target of, and then you vote for them, and then they turn out to be that very same object, right? Which they call Judaism. That's what it is. That's all there is to it, really. So that's that. Now that's the Jewish game. That's for the secret. So there is a secret there, but that secret is far more than just financial or anything else. What I think it is really is Trump, as well as and don't discount that. This is a reality. This is very real. Trump, as well as Macron, as well as Scholz, maybe Johnson, I don't know, and a number of those. Think of the Manchurian candidates, because you don't know their background and where they were and so on in their youth and what has happened and so on. That is them. They're nothing less. That's why they're scared. This is a control, heavy-handed control. You know, there is a hierarchy there. When if you look at Putin dealing with Trump and Trump being so subservient to him, this is a dictatorship, unseen state, a dictatorship in an unseen state, deep state, if you will, right? And then a boss or a tyrant is, you know, imagine people standing before Stalin, right? You know how they tremble and how they become subservient, and they give you that those smirks and smiles, you know, submissive smiles and so on, monkey smiles, right? I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Now, there is something you Americans don't realize probably yet. Cold War is not over. Never stopped, as a matter of fact. Bush, right? H. Bush helped his friends and brothers in the Soviet Union recover after their collapse and after their failure in Afghanistan. Do you understand? He helped them recover and then continue the Cold War against the West and the United States and Germany and Northwest Europe and so on. He, George H. Bush, helped them recover that. After Reagan, you know, tear down this wall, and you know, it happened not because the Soviets or the Russians or that polity of Russia was too generous, you know, just to hand over Berlin to Western Germany or to Germany, right? They had no choice, right? They just played the political or diplomatic game, if you will. So that's that. Cold War is still raging, and the vanguard of communism is here. It's here. Look at it. They're trying to. They went in for 4 years, and then they just tumbled down the rabbit hole on January 6th, right? And now they are fighting to go back again. This is no less, folks. Just imagine the Soviet Union at its worst. They're here. Their vanguard is here. You see them. They're the Putin corner. They're the Putin, I don't know, den, whatever it is. They're all over the country. And remember, when the Soviet Union collapsed, so many people immigrated to Israel, and then from Israel they immigrated to the United States. These are not Jews. They were married apparently to Jews or whoever it is, and I think they just immigrated to Israel, you know, and then from there they used it as a stepping stone to come to the United States. That is a vanguard, and I think they're in the millions. That is a vanguard of communism. Look at them now. They dispersed and they're like infused themselves everywhere in society and in politics and financial systems and stock market where they're siphoning off trillions, numbers, of course, they won't work, right? And so on. So you Americans who think Trump is for you, Trump is against you, man. I'm gonna tell you a little bit uh, about the uh, plan. Really, I'm gonna divulge to you some secret here. Uh, so MacF, world is not afraid of your Trump. Well, the bar will be raised again. And guess what? It'll be bloody. Maybe, I don't know. So uh, MacF, he doesn't lose. Never did. So anyways, what is the plan? Here's a sinister plan, folks. I'm not going to detail it, but once you grasp the main concept or the structure of it, that what I'm about to tell you here, to divulge to you, you will be horrified. You will see to really what it is. It was stated by Dugin and by Lavrov. They don't like those Anglo-Saxons, including the ones in the US and including the one in Canada, right? Including the ones in Ukraine, including the ones in Poland, including the ones in the Baltic, including the ones in probably Eastern Europe, but more toward the West as well. So here's the plan toward them by Putin and Netanyahu and Ayatollah and Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. Why does Xi Jinping? I don't know. Let's see. All right. But I think the French is included. I think Western Europe in general is included. But the main target is Scandinavians, is Germanics, is Poles, is our Baltics, and England and Scotland as well. If Trump goes back to the White House, right? If Trump goes back to the White House, the first thing he's going to do, he's going to enable Putin to roll over Europe. Oh, you're going to see him work so hard toward that you won't believe your eyes, right? And remember, when Trump or Putin was in the White House in the last 4 years, according to Nikki Haley, he siphoned off 8 trillions and gave it to the stock market. But no, he gave some to Putin, he gave some to Iran, he gave some to China, he gave some to Hezbollah, he gave some to those Shiites in the Middle East and the Bin Ladens and whatnot. Oh, they all got money. And Putin in particular, oh, he got like, do you remember on the setting of, the advent of COVID-19, when people start, like the world was in panic, right? They put the world in panic. And Putin supposedly donated masks to the United States, as if the United States, the top manufacturing facility in the world, right? Quality, and I mean, they can, if they manufacture this sophisticated set of equipment, whether it's air, military or civilian or trades, whatever you want, right? They cannot manufacture masks, right? So Putin sends this huge aircraft with 6 engines. I think it's Antonov 128. I don't know. And it lands, right, on Trump's watch, and they unload the masks, right? Maybe they are laced with some kind of pathogen that killed a lot of people who used those masks, right? But then when that airplane returned, right, they probably killed millions with those masks. How could you take a mask from Putin, someone who's doing all that to people in Ukraine, in the Caucasus, in Syria, and here and there, and in Africa? And the man is just, ever since he got scared of that rat, he went psychotic, and he's killing millions and upon millions, tens of millions, folks. And then you take a mask from him. I mean, just think about it, right? Just think about it. Eastern Ukraine is rebels, right? He turned it into rebel. Not rebel, but rebel. Well, the rebel is rebel too, right? So, but I bet you money, that airplane, that big, gigantic military transport went back with cash, hundreds of dollars of bills by gift of Trump back into Moscow, right? So that he can support him in the upcoming war in Ukraine. You get it? Get it. So that's the Cold War. Cold War is raging, and you Americans are being deceived even by your own here. Well, they're not your own, they look like your own, right? That is Putin and that is Trump. Don't be afraid of Trump. Uh, keep your weapons and liberties. You are entitled to keep your weapons. And that's why the very same people they're trying to get to take away your weapons, machine guns and so on. You may think Trump is going to make you let you keep it. You have it all wrong, folks. You have it all wrong. The other thing I want to tell you, on the media outlets and so on, you have people that may appear to be against Trump, but psychologically speaking, they're working out some psychology against you, right? To make you be scared of Trump, to make you surrender to Trump, to make you so and so. You understand? So don't believe everything you see on the media. Don't be afraid. Make your plan. You know who to vote to, and so on. You may say Biden is not, not the best president. May not be, but right now for you folks in the United States and in Canada and in Western Europe, right now Biden is really the best choice for you. Really, really. I mean, he will. I do believe from my heart, and I'm not 100% certain, but 99% certain, that he will keep the United States as is and continue with it. That's all I can tell you about him, right? He is not as bad as, let's say, if he's bad, he's not as bad as Putin being in the White House. You keep that in mind. Let me tell you about the plan. What is the plan? Here's the plan. I will be concise and I will be brief and describe it to you. If and when Putin rules Europe or rolls into Europe, you will see hundreds of millions of Chinese from Beijing or Shanghai immigrate to Europe, into those Anglo-Saxons areas, including England, including Scotland, including Germany, including Scandinavia, including Poland, including the Baltic. They are hell-bent on making this area a Eurasia. Eurasia. You may say, well, you're partly Eurasian. Why do you care? It's the plan, folks. It's the plot. Let's have a diversity. Let's not be so all mixed up as to look like Canada geese. No, can't distinguish one from another. But what's beyond the objective for Putin and his dogs, minions like Trump, like Macron, like Scholz, like others as well, right? Is really to destroy what was there for thousands of years and return them to animal farms. For you Anglo-Saxons, you better believe it. If Putin comes, gulags are ahead for you. Make no mistake about that, no less, right? And you will be erased from history forever. That's it. That's it, right? Now you may say, well, that's Europe. If you're in America, there's an ocean between you and them. That is in the future. It's a step afterwards. They will try to get hundreds of millions of Chinese as well from China, from Eastern China, like Beijing and Shanghai and Guangzhou and whatnot, right? And then bring them here, right? Bring them here to the United States and Canada, right? That plan is nothing, is real, man, is real, folks. You better wake up. You better wake up. You better fight. Folks, you better fight. Why am I being so busy about this and talking about it all the time? Simple, folks. I see her coming and I see a lot of people getting hurt and maimed and so on. Liberties will be demolished and abolished, and life as we know it will be under the control of Putin, who will ultimately drag everything that under his control back into the Stalin and Lenin era. These guys don't understand that you as a human being have a soul or anything else. These guys don't understand that. These guys understand one thing and one thing alone, that you were made to serve and be destroyed and abused at the process, right? Within the process. If you read this book and understand the underlying hint or undercurrent, undertone in it, you will be horrified. He'll show you what plan it is in the works for you. Have a nice day. Don't forget, this Navalny story is to make you be scared of Trump. Don't be scared of Trump. Nobody is scared of Trump. But you have to move, of course. You can't be lethargic and complicit and have that complacency, sit back and relax and watch the TV. You can't do that. You have to go and vote. And you, Joby, if you're not for Trump yourself, you better make sure that these voting places are monitored and looked at and so on. Have a nice day, because that who accuses who states or who believes that the election system is rigged is the one to actually go ahead and rig it.